Okay. Hello there. Debbie here. In case you're viewing me for the first time, I'm going to give a little background. But I've been in the field of addictions for over 33 years. And I graduated from Northwestern Oklahoma University and OU with a master's and a bachelor's. My master's is in substance abuse psychology, and I have a master's in addiction counseling. Um, I don't think of myself as an authority, but I have a lot of experience. I always say I've never got anybody sober, I've never got anybody clean, I've never got anybody necessarily well, but I've seen a lot of people that have amazing lives and been able to contribute to it. I've seen them get clean and sober. I've had clients who said to me when I asked them doing an assessment, how long you've been sober, they'll say, well, I've only been sober 24 hours. And I'll say, 24 hours? Do you know that someone who can't put together 24 hours, that's like an eternity to them? I said, so you're doing great. It's a start. It's a foundation. You got to start somewhere. Anyways, I wanted to talk about personal responsibility. I think it's one of the most important character traits that we can develop in recovery. Say what you mean what you say, let your word be your bond. They're old traits that people stood on that defined their character and their integrity. And they were important. And I've been sober 33 years, and I think the integrity of what is considered sobriety has changed quite a bit. We used to have the expression sobriety was soundness of mind, but I'm not seeing a lot of sound people anymore. I mean, even those in recovery seem to be so easily convinced of things that are totally irrational, that don't make sense. I mean, you have a newcomer coming into a meeting, and you've got someone with 20 years hitting on them. I mean, that's not sound thinking. What can a newcomer just wet out of the streets offer to someone who's been sober multiple years? I mean, they don't have anything to offer. And men should encourage those young women to get female sponsors and good mentors, and not think that they're the ones that can take them along and teach them the ropes. So anyway, I wanted to talk about responsibility. For those of you who don't know, I'm going to be 77 in a couple of months, in October 8th, you know. And life is good. And tomorrow I start a new job. It's in the substance abuse field, and I'll be working with the probation officers and courts, and doing assessments on people who are in the criminal system to see what the level of treatment is that they should get. And I'm starting a whole new life. I mean, I've been semi-retired now for over 10 years, and now I'm going to be back working a full-time job, 40 hours a week, getting up at 5 in the morning when I like to lollygag, in the morning, and just take my time and do what I want to do, and go out and play in my garden and do my devotional, read my Bible, say my prayers, play with the dog. And that's all going to change. But part of being responsible and being accountable for my own life is going to require that I make sacrifices. So I'm embarking on this new challenge, and I'm excited and I'm scared. My son said to me the other day, Debbie, he said, you're just suffering with, how did he put it? Imposter syndrome. And I thought, whoa, wait a minute. I understand that because my resume looks really good. I look great on paper, but can I perform at that level? And that's, all these years later, it's like, I don't know. Can you perform at that level, Debbie? You better think about that. But I'm going to try. What I do know is that I've never given up on a challenge. Never. I've set goals, and then I've achieved those goals. It took me 22 years to get my master's, and that's what it is. You set a goal and you just get her done. So that's where I'm at right now. And I want to talk about taking personal responsibility and accountability for the decisions we make in life. I was listening to somebody the other day on a podcast, and he was talking about narcissism. He was talking about that he had stayed in a marriage for over 20 years with a narcissist, and he's got a lot to say, and he can really identify a lot of narcissists. But I thought to myself, if you knew that you were living with a overly controlling, gaslighting, crazy person, why 22 years? What was the payoff? At what point did you think, I'm done? If you ask most people what is it they want in life, they'll tell you they just want to be happy. And what I know is that happiness is an external things that happen on the outside of you. They're external events and circumstances and situations. And we allow those external things to influence our internal life. One of the fruits of God's Spirit is joy. And when we allow the Spirit of God to inhabit us, we have joy. And we're not seeking to have this elusive sense of happiness all the time. We're not looking for someone to fix us or to be our other half, to complete us. We are complete, and we work on being complete. And being complete means I have to examine those things about me that are not useful to me. In the 12-step program, they have a fourth and fifth step, and you share your fifth step with your sponsor. And one of the most enlightening experiences I had was looking at myself and realizing that I was always dependent on other people to make me happy. I didn't take responsibility for my own happiness. People who don't take responsibility for their own happiness can always find some place, some person, something to blame their unhappiness on. And that's ridiculous. Today, I know that if I make a really bad choice and it results in some terrible consequences, I chose it. I made that decision. So we examine our decisions. And let me say this too, and I've mentioned it before in my other videos. There's 3 things that define maturity: delayed gratification, impulse control, and acceptance. If I do not cultivate those 3 strengths, then I'm going to be confronted with a lot of disappointments. And I'm not going to have anyone to blame but myself. this gentleman that I had mentioned, I mean, he saw red flags early on in his relationship, but he didn't respect his gut instinct. You know, we have the ability to see danger as it approaches us. Some fears are irrational and some fears are logical. And fear is something that is designed to alert us to be cautious. If we deny that there's a real reason to be fearful, I mean, it's like, am I paranoid or do I have a true fear I need to be aware of? So if it's a true fear that I need to be aware of, then I can also um, find ways to eliminate whatever the threat is. If it's irrational, then get some good advice. Go talk to somebody. Talk to a counselor. Talk to a trusted friend. Talk to your pastor. You know, let someone else know what you're struggling with. Like I did with my own son when he said, "Debbie, you're suffering from imposter syndrome." And I thought, oh, okay. All I need to do, and what I was encouraged and taught to do, is to suit up and show up and just do the best job I can. I certainly do have the experience. So anyways, I wanted to just pop on here for a minute because I haven't, first of all, my computer was down. That was a bummer. And secondly, when I went and got my computer updated, thank you, Best Buy, for being a thorn in my side today. At least I'm online. But they updated my system and I'm old. And that just totally confused me. So now I have to relearn all of this, which is probably good because I'm sure when I get into my new job, they're going to have a computer system and that they use for documentation, and I'm going to have to learn a whole new system there too, programs. But anyway, so I just wanted to say hi. If anything I've said has any kind of value and you want to put something in the comment box that I can kind of share with you, you know, because I'm all about communication. I'm all about personal relationships. And I was hoping that my YouTube channel would be a source of developing those kinds of relationships. And of course, being available to people who just want to rant, just want to talk. You know, you can insult me. I don't take offense by it. And because I know what real joy is, and I'm not running around trying to be happy. By the way, happiness comes from the root word of happenstance. And happenstance means those events that occur outside of us. You know, you get a brand new car and you love that new car's smell. But a month later, it's just a form of transportation. So you could be real happy the first day you drive it off the lot, and then you can be real miserable the second day when you realize that it's now no longer worth, you know, you just lost 20% of its value. So, but anyways, I just want to encourage everybody to examine yourself. You're important. You're valuable, and God loves you. God loves you. I'm making this video today. It's Sunday. It's Easter Sunday, Resurrection Day. And coincidentally, when I start my new job tomorrow, it's like Resurrection Day. A new life is going to emerge. The dry bones are going to be given life and quickened. And so, you know, get in touch with me if you want to. Comment, like, share. And God bless you, and I hope everybody has a great day.